everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina, and today I'm a little nervous. Not like nervous, but a little like I'm doing something different and I don't know how to feel about it. I'll know how to feel about it by the end of this video, but right now I'm stepping into new territory of being a YouTuber. I don't know what I'm doing. Today I'm going to be talking about the books I read in March, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. I personally love reading. I feel like I don't talk about it or like show it, but I do love reading. But I've been like in a reading slump for the past 10 years. Yeah, so I feel like because of like school required reading and everything, and like annotating, because I hate annotating and like having to write essays on books, my love for reading kind of just fell off at some point while like in school. I'm basically getting the time because of quarantine to just read whatever I want, and I wanted to start this thing on my channel where I talk about what I read, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. If not, then that's totally fine. That's totally okay. There's gonna be other content on my channel, obviously, but I want to see if I could like keep up with this. Maybe I'll fall into another reading slip by next month, who knows, but I'm just gonna give this a try, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This month I read a total of, I want to say, let me count, 6 books, and that might not seem like that many, but keep in mind I started reading like in the middle of the month, so like around March 15th-ish is when I started like actually reading again. I'm sure if I started from the beginning of the month I would have had more books on here, but I'm just gonna work with the ones that I did read. Just to be clear, some of the books I have read this month, like this past month, they are on my phone. I read like ebooks and stuff. I'll be explaining those as well, but I also have physical copies of the books I read, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a new kind of thing I do on my channel, and I'm so nervous, but we're gonna get into it. Okay, so this first book I'm gonna be talking about, I got recommended by one of my Twitter mutuals, and it is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Here's the thing, I was gonna start this book anyway because I've fallen down the dark, amazing, like tranquil hole of booktube lately, where I've just been watching bookshelf tours. I've been watching a lot of bookshelf tours, and every bookshelf tour I've watched of like big booktubers, they always have this book and Circe. So I knew I was probably gonna be like somewhat interested in it because like there's so many people that like it. I feel like it's obvious I was gonna like it as well, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did by the end. The amount of tears I shed, it's insane. This Madeline Miller woman, her pen is immaculate. Her writing in this is actually beautiful. Let me explain, because in case you haven't read this book, it is basically a retelling of the Trojan War. If you're like into mythology, you'll probably like know of the Trojan War, know that big horse that they took all the way to Trojan to get back Helen. I'm interested in mythology. I took a mythology class in high school. I've always been interested in mythology. So when I heard that this was kind of like a retelling of it, I was curious, but I didn't know the plot. I really went in blind. I just bought it just because I wanted to see the hype. I didn't read the back of it. Little did I know it's centered around a little romance between Achilles and Patroclus. Patroclus is like the main character, like it's telling from his point of view, but the whole entire story of like the way that he met Achilles and their adventures together before going off to war together, and then like by the end of this book you're just gonna be like, that was beautiful. And I was this close to rereading it, but I had another book that I got at the same time as this because I've started to get like 2 books at a time so I could like have something to do throughout the week, because I realized like I read through books like a little too quickly for my liking, so I get multiple books every week. I'll probably reread this at some point and maybe annotate it, because here's the thing with annotating, it's not that I exactly hate it. I'll usually go back and annotate a book the second time I read through it instead of the first, because I don't like stopping and pausing to annotate. I'd rather go back and do it the second time I read a book, which I know a lot of people are like, that's weird. I know, I'm weird, get over it. But yes, this is like a good book. I guess I'll like, out of 5 stars, I'll rate it a 5. a lot of people should read this if you have not already, because it's really just beautiful. It's great. Okay. Next, the next book I have is a book that I have heard about that I've been meaning to read since my senior year of high school, which was last year. One of my student teachers recommended it to me. Her summary of it stuck in my head for over a year, but I never got the chance to read it until today, until this month. The book I'm talking about is Children of Blood and Bone by Tony Adeyemi. This, look at the cover. Just like admire the cover real quick. This is the book, I guess, got me out of my reading slump, technically, but sort of. This is the book I started to read at the beginning of March that made me like go down the spiral that I am currently with books, because this is so good and it's gonna make you want to read again. Like if you're having a reading slump, I recommend reading this book. It's centered around Western African lore and it's told in trio POV, so like the three main characters, they all have their own narrations of what's happening in the book throughout. The plot is basically, we have the main character Zelly. She and the rest of her magi, I don't know the right pronunciation, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. Her and the rest of the magi that she lives with, they're all descendants of witches, but she and the rest of them have no powers because they got taken away by the upper class royal people. I totally forgot the name. I'm so sorry. It's been like a week since I read it, but basically she is set on a journey after running into the princess of this land, the daughter of the king that basically took away all of Zelly and her people's magic. Once she runs into the princess, she is set on a journey to basically get her and everyone else's magic back, and it's very dramatic, very climactic. It kind of gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes. It's actually kind of crazy how similar it is. Her brother and this special kid, the princess's name is Amari, so the special kid Amari run into each other, basically figuring out that they need to save the world. They have a certain time limit where they need to save the world. I think like only they have up until like the solstice or whatever to get the magic back, so it's only like a 14-day time period where all of this stuff happens in the book. And they even have like a big hybrid animal. Like it really gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes, and I enjoyed this book a lot. The imagery in it is like stunning. Like I felt like I was there in whatever world this is. It was told beautifully. The only thing that I did not enjoy about this book was the romance. I feel like the romance wasn't needed. I'm not gonna give away anything, but I feel like the romance in this book was a little rushed in my opinion and didn't really need to happen. And the relationships that were involved, I was only invested in like one, and it wasn't even like canon. So it might be, but probably not until like the third book, which isn't even out yet. So yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this was the romance, but the action involved, the storytelling. It's a really great story. I highly recommend it. If I were to give it a rating, probably 4.5 stars. And then of course, what comes with, you know, starting the Legend of Orisha series, which is what that is, I also got the second book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Now, this is basically taking place right after what happened in the last book, so I can't give away too much of this. I'm not going to give away anything. What I will say is I did not enjoy this as much as the first one. Every character pissed me off. Like every character was making stupid decisions throughout this book, and I was like, the only reason why I was somewhat enjoying it was because the relationship that I want to happen in the first book kind of sets off in this one, but not even. Like it was hinted at like maybe in the first 100 pages and then never got back to it. So like this book kind of makes my blood boil, but the way that it ends, I'm waiting for the third book because I know I'm gonna read the third book. I'm too invested in this world and these characters to not be. I need to know if that they're gonna be okay. Children of Virtue and Vengeance is the sequel in the Legends of Orisha series if you want to actually give it a try. Storytelling is really beautiful in this too. The imagery is also really beautiful. It's kind of smaller than the first one. Like let me show you. So they're kind of like This one is kind of a little thicker than this. I feel like the story was told a little better. Like it was kind of rushed but wasn't in this, whereas this one I feel like some aspects in the first book were rushed more than others. This one you could tell that like Toni Adeyemi took her time to like try and space out what was going on, but that with that it also brought like some parts in the book nothing really happened and I was kind of bored, and then the parts where stuff was happening people were making dumb decisions. So you know, if I were to rate this book, I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5, which isn't really that bad of a rating. It's like average. I feel like this book was made to set up the third book. I don't know if that's going to be the final in the series, but from the way this book was setting everything up and like telling everything that's happening, something is definitely like something is gonna overflow in the third book. Also, let's just appreciate the cover real quick because this cover is literally, look at that, it's beautiful. I love illustrated covers the most. They just have a special place in my heart. The next book I'm gonna be talking about is by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and it is titled Some Kind of Perfect. It is the epilogue novel of the book series that I have been tweeting about for months. The Calloway Sisters series and I guess the Addicted series. Technically it would be the epilogue novel of the Calloway Sisters series, but I'm gonna consider it an epilogue of both. Let me explain. No one talks about this series. I don't know why. Maybe they did and I'm just late, because I know this book series has been around for literally 10 years and it is kind of ongoing, kind of, sort of, but I just want to talk about it. So this book is the epilogue novel for the Calloway Sisters series, which is a spin-off of the Addicted series. If you remember in a video that I made a few months ago of me painting and talking about random things, I mentioned that I have been reading again and I started reading the Addicted series back in December. And let me tell you, I got through those books in under a month. Now, not only the Addicted series, which only includes like 3 books and 2 novellas if you want to read those, I also got through the Calloway Sisters series, which is 4 books in total. So like, and I read the novellas, so that in total made up 9 books. Yeah. When I started this book, I started it in like the end of January, beginning of February, and then I stopped because I realized I was going through it so quickly and I just didn't want the series to end. I can't give away anything of this book without spoiling literally everything else that has happened in this world that the Ritchie sisters have created. Those sisters are so talented. Like gorgeous gowns, beautiful writing. This book made me cry. This series, both series made me cry. If you haven't watched my previous video talking about this, basically the Addicted series follows 2 addicts. Lily Calloway, who is a sex addict, and Lauren Hale, who is an alcoholic. And you know, they've been besties since childhood, and you know, they've always enabled each other's addictions. And the Addicted series is basically them going through that and trying to recover and like find happiness through their struggle of addiction. That's what, like, it's a childhood friends to lovers series. It's very good. And then the Calloway Sister series centers around Lily's sisters Rose and Daisy, and you know, their stuff, what they have going on, and the stories, the 2 series intertwine, so like you don't have to read one series to know to like read the other or like understand the other. But I highly recommend it because the way that you'll feel about these characters if you read all of their books together is ridiculous. That's why when I got to this epilogue novel, which is basically just, it's one of the most beautiful ways to end a series I've ever read in my life. I don't understand how they did it. The Ritchie sisters just, they topped themselves for me. This basically tells the aftermath of, after all of those books, after everything that all 6 characters, that includes the Calloway sisters and their men, what all of those characters went through. This epilogue novel is basically saying like, what happened afterwards, like their future, what's going on with them and everything. And it's just like a beautiful way to wrap up a story, because I wanted them to be happy so bad. Like throughout all of the books I read from both of these series, I just wanted all 6 of the characters to be happy, and I somewhat got that happy ending. I got the happy ending that I was looking for in this epilogue novel. It's an epilogue novel for the Calloway Sisters series specifically, so if you want to read the Calloway Sisters series, go ahead. But if you want to like actually take a deeper like look into the overall arcing characters, I really suggest you read both series. And I know it's like a 10-book commitment, so you don't have to, but I highly suggest it, because once you read the first book, it's kind of hard to like not go on to the second book. Speaking from personal experience, I literally got through 9 books in a month. I would have gotten through all 10 in a month if I didn't find some level of self-control. You'll feel every type of way for these characters, and it has every single romance trope you could think of. Childhood friends to lovers, academic rivals to lovers. It has, you know, sunshine girl, broody guy. It has an age gap. Fake dating. It has literally everything you could think of when it comes to romance novels for all 10 of these books and all 3 of these relationships involved. Yeah, go check it out and tell me what you think about it if you check it out. Along with that series, oh, I have a problem. Okay, I also got the Whatever It Takes series by Becca and Krista Ritchie, which follows the side characters of the Addicted/Calloway series. I hate the covers of these books, but it revolves around Garrison, Abby, and Willow Hale, I guess you could say. You don't need to read the Addicted series or the Calloway series to like the Calloway Sister series to read these, but it'll make you feel more for the characters. These characters were introduced in the last book of the Addicted series, but you see them all throughout the Calloway Sister series, but you'll see them in the background. Like they are basically background characters. Everything that happens in this book happened in that book, but this is basically a retelling of it from their point of view and what these 2 were going through in their relationship. The guy in this, Garrison Abby, might be my favorite boyfriend in like any book series I've ever read. It's like a whole roller coaster ride with these 2. I personally am probably gonna reread this series like 10 times, because although they're like side characters, they're probably my favorite couple out of all of the couples in the Addicted/Calloway Sister series, so much so that they got their own series. So when I heard about that, I was like, oh my god. This is crazy. Basically, it's a duo POV, so it's like both in Willow's perspective and Garrison's perspective. It's basically talking about all of the events that happened while like they were going through what they were going through in the Addicted series and in the Calloway Sister series, and then also talking about the relationship now, where Willow is like across the world at college and Garrison is still in Philadelphia trying to figure out his life in all aspects of it, from family to friends to his own like personal issues. It's really a beautiful story, and they're kind of maybe my favorite characters, even though they're literally side characters and only have 2 books, but like their relationship is so cute. I love them. I really do. I recommend this. If you're not gonna read all 10 books or like either series, I recommend this one just because it's short. It's a quick read. I got through this book in 2 days. I got through this book in 2 days. It was literally like one of the quickest reads ever. I couldn't put either book down. It's a little bit of like a, I guess, bad boy, good girl trope, but not at the same time. I can't really explain it without spoiling it. So just read it. Take the trigger warning seriously in the beginning of the stories, because there's a lot that happens in both of these books that will probably make you side eye or uncomfortable. So the trigger warnings are really important. Take them seriously in both books. And I think with that, I am done. I started reading in the middle of the month, so maybe by next month, if I do one of these videos again, I'll have more books. But right now, all I have are those 6. This is a new thing that I'm gonna do, and I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of liked it. If you like it too, let me know and I'll just keep doing it, because why not? If you enjoyed this video, thanks. If you'd like to follow me on social media, here it is. I mostly interact on Twitter, But if you'd like to follow me on all those other social medias to be nice, they will be linked in the description below. If you would like to recommend me any other books, whether it be in the comments or on Twitter or anywhere else, like just let me know and I'll probably read them. Like I'm literally like on a little kick. Like I just woke up out of a 10-year reading slump and I'm trying to get through every single popular book or any book that may or may not be good that I have missed in the past like 10 years. So let me know and I will read it and probably talk about it in one of these videos. Bye everyone.